Hello, I'm Esther Githu-Yuot. It's Tuesday, June 7th. This is Africa 54.
Nigeria declares 7 days of national mourning for victims of a church shooting. All flags are flying at half-staff in Ondo State. Belgium's King Philippe visits the Democratic Republic of Congo. Will he apologize for the brutality of Belgium's colonial past? And how a new initiative launched by pharmaceutical giant Pfizer could benefit Africa.
Dozens of people are dead in Nigeria and many others injured after shooters attacked St. Francis Catholic Church in the southwestern town of Owo in Ondo State during Mass on Sunday. The government has declared 7 days of national mourning for the victims. VOA's Paul Ndiho has more.
Streaks of blood marked the floors and walls of St. Francis Catholic Church in the aftermath of a deadly shooting on Sunday. Shooters opened fire on worshippers and detonated explosives. Conflicting media reports say at least 22 people are dead, but that number could be over 50. Police have yet to release an official death toll. Francis Obi, who survived the attack, recalled the confusion among the parishioners.
Suddenly, when the mass is about to end, we had a 2 gunshot near this side. So everybody began to run. So everybody's wondering, what is happening? What is happening? The things start, then everybody begin to run. Even my very self, I run past the toilet side, fall down there. As old man, I cannot move again. I begin to scrape. So till I get to the back of the toilet, it's from that place I see wood in the wall. So I put one of my leg there, then I fall over to the other side.
The attack by unknown number of shooters is the latest in a series of violence against innocent people.
After the shooting, though I was with my kids, so I had to try a way defending them. Me, I went under the chair, though immediately they entered, they started firing everywhere. So many people. But unfortunately, because of the kids, my leg was unable to enter the pew in the church. That was where they shot my leg.
Well, we've been doing our best to resuscitate and make sure that their injuries are not worsened by in any way. A number of them have gone to theater also to have surgery done. So, well, we're just on it and hope that God helps us to help as many as possible.
Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and former Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu, frontrunners in the ruling All Progressive Congress Party primaries to select its presidential candidates for next year, visited the church on Monday.
I'm here, of course, as you know, on behalf of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as the government, to express our sincere condolences to the church and then to the people of this community.
Many shops in Owu remain closed on Tuesday and the town is quiet. Security forces are patrolling the streets. Authorities have not disclosed whether they know who carried out the attacks or the number of casualties. The attack came a day before the ruling APC party started primaries for candidates in the 2023 election to replace President Muhammadu Buhari, who is stepping down after 2 terms in office. Analysts say security will be a significant challenge for whoever wins the race to govern Nigeria. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.
VOA Hausa reporter Al-Hassan Bala spoke with Kabir Adamu, a security risk management and intelligence specialist, about what could be the motivation of the attack and if Nigerians should expect similar attacks.
It's unclear at the moment, but there are several factors. Number one is terrorism. Number two is political. And then number three, it may be a message being sent to the governor. We're told that he did a couple of things that make certain persons in the state uncomfortable. Number one is interference within the political process in the selection of both flag bearers at the senatorial and at the House of Rep levels. A significant number of politicians were unhappy. Number two is his attempt to clamp down on marijuana producers within the state, and we're told that Owo is one of the key points where marijuana is being produced. Number three is the possibility that gunmen, popularly called Fulani herdsmen, who are also present within that axis, may have been behind it. Of course, number four is terrorism. A neighboring state, which is Kogi State, has witnessed certain number of attacks, and it's possible that those groups may have crossed over into Ondo to carry out the attack.
Is the attack part of the level of insecurity across the country?
Yes, it is. The fact that the perpetrators carried out the attack, the fact that they went away almost successfully, the fact that almost 24 hours after the attack, where the security agencies have not come out to say in clear terms who was responsible, indicates that, yes, this is another of several of such incidents that we've monitored in the country.
Are we likely going to see more of it?
Oh, yes, unfortunately, except if the security agencies move fast, just like the governor has said, that they will arrest and prosecute those that are behind it. If not, then we're going to see more, unfortunately.
Attack on churches is rare in the southern part of the country. Does this show the level of escalation of insecurity in the region?
So first off, this is not the first attack in a religious place of worship, a church in the southern half of the country. A couple of years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago in Anambra State, there was a similar desecration of a religious place of worship where later we were told that it was a cold war between two gangs, some of whom may even have international connections. So such kind of attacks, unfortunately, are not as rare as they sound. The nature of this attack in Ondo State suggests that whatever group carried it out does not even recognize the holy place of a religious place of worship. Perhaps the intention may be abduction. Perhaps there are other motives. Only time would tell. But I just want to lay the emphasis that these types of attacks are not as rare as it seems in southern half of the country.
Some people are blaming it on Fulani. What is your take?
Yes, it's possible. Just like I mentioned, there are armed Fulani militias operating in that part of the country, and they may have been behind this attack. But what is important is for us to state that even if it's the Fulani so-called herdsmen, they are not doing it because they are Fulanis. They are doing it because they either have a terroristic or a criminal intention. So having that clout that they are Fulanis does not really help the situation. Identifying their motive and then dealing with that motive, I think, is what is more important for us as a country.
What is the way out to these issues?
Improve law enforcement. Ensure that offenders are arrested and they are penalized.
How should the government and people be responding to this kind of event so that it will prevent from having reprisal attack that would affect innocent citizens?
For the government, like I said, improve on law enforcement so that offenders are arrested and punished. For the people, we need to call for more effort by the Nigerian government. Luckily, we're in an election year. This is the time for us to ask from our politicians what they intend to do to address these security situations. Anything short of that, unfortunately, would mean this thing will continue. So anyone who does not have his voter's card, this is the time to go and get your voter's card. Yes, it's okay to be angry on Twitter. It's okay to be angry on Facebook and several other social media platforms. But it's more important for you to go and get your voter's card and make sure you participate in the elections.
Nigerians are expressing frustration with what they say is much talk but little action from authorities on insecurity. VOA Hausa reporter Ilyasu Kasimu spoke to people on the streets of Jos in north-central Nigeria.
It happened recently, yesterday, day before yesterday, all is condemned, and they're busy in Abuja doing who will be the leader. If everybody dies, who they will lead? So it's not good. They have to take action. Military, paramilitary, police, they have to take serious action on that for Nigeria to be united as one.
The attack is condemnable. It is condemnable. And for the president to merely condemn it, to me, is not enough. These people should be identified. Who are they? Where did they come from? They should be brought to book so that other perpetrators will learn that if they do that, they will not. If they do that, they've continued doing that. And for a country that calls itself the giant of Africa, and such things are happening, it is a shame. It is a big shame for us in this country. So the president should identify these people, bring them to book, and why should they even attack a religious place, a place of worship? Are you attacking God, or are you attacking the people that are worshiping there? What is your aim? Is it political? Is it religious? Is it ethnic? I don't understand.
The point is that we elected the government not to be sympathetic with insecurity. The man we have on the saddle now is supposed to be commander-in-chief, not sympathizer-in-chief. So not the other way around. So I think security is what belongs to the people. They don't have to beg for it. It is enshrined in the Constitution, and the Constitution, as it is, has given us the rights to be protected.
Condemning the act, it's not anything to go by, because there will be always reoccurrence of issues of insecurity here and there. Either it should be from the north, from the west, the south, the east. We should just face the reality. When we face the reality, if a policeman knows his job, without sentiment, without self-motives, if a soldier also knows his job, without self-motives, without sentiment, so it will really go on well with us.
VOA reporter Ilyasu Kasimu speaking to people on the streets of Jos, Nigeria. Discussions by Defense Forces chiefs on the East African community are ongoing Tuesday, with Rwanda being notably absent. The talks center on establishing a regional force that will help restore peace and security in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Clashes between the M23 rebel group and the DRC army have displaced tens of thousands in recent weeks. During the meeting held in Goma, Celestine Bala, head of the Congolese Armed Forces, says one of the main aims of the discussions is to establish a regional joint force to contain and combat all negative forces destabilizing the country.
Que tous les groupes armés étrangers,
all foreign armed groups active in the Democratic Republic of Congo to be disarmed and returned immediately and unconditionally to their respective countries of origin. Otherwise, they will also be considered as negative forces and be subject to military action by the sub-region. The process of setting up a sub-regional force to combat the negative forces should be initiated immediately by the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Peace and security is of utmost importance. And this is the very reason we are meeting here to find solutions to peace and security in this part of the Eastern African region.
That was Celestine Bala, head of the Congolese Armed Forces, and General Robert Kibochi, head of the Kenya Armed Forces and chairman of the Committee of the Chiefs of Defense Forces of the East Africa partner states. Belgium's King Philippe is visiting the Democratic Republic of Congo Tuesday, and some citizens want to know if he will apologize for the brutality of Belgium's colonial past. Clara Frank has more.
Belgium's King Philippe is expected to arrive in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Tuesday. This will be his first visit to the former Belgian colony since the start of his reign in 2013. To some in the capital Kinshasa, like market seller Junior Bombi, the question is, what's the point?
I wish that our president would take care of what's important to the Congolese instead of creating useless expense by inviting the royal couple. We have important things to settle here, like free education. Teachers are not well paid, but the president prefers to invite the Belgian king. To do what? To loot us again?
Millions of Congolese are estimated to have died between 1885 and 1908, after Belgium's King Leopold II declared the country his personal property. Examples of cruelty from that period are widespread, ranging from soldiers collecting Congolese hands to people being put on show in Belgium at a human zoo. Congo was subsequently a Belgian colony for 52 years. In 2020, King Philippe expressed deep regret for the suffering and humiliation inflicted on Congo during 75 years of Belgian rule. Historian Antoine Roger Lokongo says he wants more from the king.
En tant que Congolais, je peux dire, soyez la bienvenue.
As a Congolese, I can say, welcome to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Your Majesty.
Mais, cette fois-ci,
but this time, have the courage to say sorry to the Congolese people.
Pardon aux Congolais.
The simple regret that you have expressed is not enough.
Exprimé ne suffit pas.
Congo achieved independence in 1960. At the Declaration of Independence, Belgium's King Baudouin praised the genius of Leopold II. Independence leader and Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba's response excoriated Belgium's regime of injustice, oppression, and exploitation. He was Congo's first democratically elected Prime Minister. A few months later, he had been assassinated, a killing for which the Belgian government took partial responsibility in 2022. A ceremony to hand over the remains of Patrice Lumumba is scheduled for June in Brussels. Clara Frank, VOA News.
In today's Africa News Roundup, a local human rights group says militiamen killed 12 people in a night raid on a village in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo near the shore of Lake Albert. And South Africa's governing party is calling for the swift extradition of Rajesh and Atul Gupta after they were arrested in the United Arab Emirates. The Gupta brothers are accused of using their connections to former South African President Jacob Zuma to win contracts, siphon off state funds, and influence cabinet appointments. Still to come, pharmaceutical giant Pfizer launches a new health initiative. But first, Hedy Adams tells us what's coming up on Wednesday's Straight Talk Africa.
On the next Straight Talk Africa, tensions between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo are intensifying. The DRC accuses Rwanda of backing the resurgent M23 rebel group active in its volatile east. Rwanda denies this claim. Join me, Vincent Makori, on the next Straight Talk Africa for an in-depth look at this simmering feud.
Thank you, Vincent. Ryanair is now requiring South African passengers to prove their nationality before flying by completing a test in Afrikaans. Afrikaans has long been identified with apartheid and the white minority. Rachel Graham reports.
Ryanair has sparked anger by requiring its South African passengers to prove their nationality by completing a test in Afrikaans, a language used by just 12% of the population that has long been identified with apartheid and the white minority. The airline said it required any UK-bound passengers from the country to complete the, quote, simple questionnaire due to what it described as a high prevalence of fraudulent South African passports. A spokesman for Ryanair, which does not operate flights to or from South Africa, said that any passengers unable to complete the questionnaire would be refused travel and issued with a refund. CEO of the Afrikaans Language Council, Conrad Steenkamp, warned the move could lead to legal action.
They're using this in a manner that is utterly absurd. Afrikaans, you have roughly 20% of the population of South Africa understand Afrikaans or understands Afrikaans, but the rest don't. So you're sitting with roughly 50 million people who do not understand Afrikaans. So they might as well have taken Zulu, which is the biggest language in South Africa, and used that if they really wanted to use one of the bigger languages.
Ryanair said the test would apply to any South African passport holder flying to the UK from another part of Europe on the carrier. The UK High Commission in South Africa said on Twitter that the test was not a British government requirement to enter the United Kingdom. The test created outrage among South African citizens, who say an Afrikaans test proves nothing.
It's very discriminatory to a whole host of South Africans who don't speak Afrikaans.
Afrikaans is the third most spoken of 11 official languages in South Africa. It was considered the official language until the end of apartheid in 1994.
It's time for a health report, and joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Lino Mudu with details on a new health initiative. Hello, Lino.
Hello, Esther. Hello, everyone. Well, pharmaceutical giant Pfizer is launching a new initiative and a call for a healthier world. The agreement aims to give Pfizer's patent-protected medicines and vaccines licensed in the United States or the European Union on a non-profit basis to 45 low-income nations. Rwanda, Ghana, Malawi, Senegal, and Uganda are the first 5 countries to kick off the initiative. I spoke with Angela Wang, a member of Pfizer's executive team and group president of the Pfizer Biopharmaceuticals Group, about the new plan.
There are sort of 3 grounding principles in terms of what we will do with all of our partners, which is the governments and the countries, which is that Pfizer will make these medicines available at a non-for-profit price. Number 2, we will work with governments to ensure that there is an expedited regulatory process to approve these products, right? Because without the approval, we can't get the products into the country. And that we will work with the countries to ensure that there's a secure way to deliver and to supply these products, because we want to make sure that the products get into the hands of the patients for whom the government believes these products should go. The 23 products that are initially part of this is because actually today we happen to have 23 innovative products. As we launch products, which we do every single year, those products will automatically roll into this initiative. So Paxlovid is our oral antiviral pill to treat COVID-19 that was just approved actually in the US in December of 2021. So that's one of the products, and it's a great example. I will use another one. Ibrance is a breast cancer medicine specifically for metastatic breast cancer. We know that breast cancer is a disease of great concern in the developing world, and so we want to make this groundbreaking medicine available. I think another part of this initiative, which we haven't spoken about, is that we don't believe our job ends by just dropping the medicine off. Distribution and supply is only part of the issue. The larger issue actually is the availability of infrastructure, the right healthcare systems to help patients actually get the medicines. So a big part of rolling out this initiative is also a commitment from Pfizer to really support the identification of the infrastructural needs in the various countries.
To what extent will countries be afforded the opportunity to select medicines and vaccines according to their local needs and priorities?
That is the expected outcome, is that countries will then tell us which are more important to them, and that's how we will deliver them and also work with them to ensure that the medicines are used.
What sorts of collaboration should be anticipated with African scientists and experts on the ground?
If this is something that the country would like, then we can engage. We believe that this partnership is driven off of what the country would like, not just in terms of medicine, but also in terms of maybe potential research partnerships.
Pfizer have been around for a long time. Why now? Why was it important to launch such an initiative at this moment, over 2 years after the COVID pandemic?
What really, I think, mobilized us, much more clearly is the fact that we learned from the pandemic that supply was just not enough. There is abundant supply of the vaccine, yet we're not seeing vaccinations at the rates that we hope. Distribution and supply is insufficient to solve the problem. What we need is to ensure that there is an infrastructure that's built in that will allow the country and the patients to actually receive the products and then be able to get it. And we're asking for other companies, for other NGOs, for other financial or professional medical institutions to really help us in these countries to create the infrastructure and the capacity that's going to be required so that patients can actually use these drugs.
How is it going to change the dynamic with regards to access to the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine?
Well, the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine is already available through, a number of different venues. So that's not going to change. Countries have the choice of what they would like to pick from our 23 patented medicines.
5 African countries have been selected to kick off the initiative on the continent: Rwanda, Ghana, Malawi, Senegal, and Uganda. How were they selected, and what role will country play in the implementation of the program?
These countries really stepped forward and really demonstrated, their desire to work with us. The reason why these 5 are important is because we can't just drop the medicines off. We actually need to really work through what are the systemic barriers that are preventing people from either being diagnosed appropriately or being able to access. And it's going to look different across these 5 countries. And to really create a playbook, the idea is that we will engage with all 45 with them.
And that's all for today. To stay in touch, find me on Twitter @LenorMoudou. Back to you, Esther.
Thanks, Lino. Watch Lino Moudou's health report every Tuesday right here on Africa 54. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. Thanks for watching.